Okay, and we're live this fine AM. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon, depending on what part of the world you are in, and welcome to Straight Talkin' Fedora Chic. If you are new here, we basically are a story time / social commentary channel, and if you're into that kind of thing, please consider subscribing and hit that little ringy thing below so you can be notified every time I go live or I upload. Although these days I pretty much only go live. Now, this is a long awaited video. I have seen a few people on various platforms, social media platforms, discussing or asking or trying to explain the differences between bullying and holding someone accountable. And I think it is an important discussion to have. Now, is it a problem we're going to solve? Are we going to answer all the questions in this one little live stream from my small corner of the world? Well, no, of course not. But as those of you who have been to my channel before, have watched other of my videos, you would all know that I'm not necessarily here to solve a problem. There could be various solutions that could be brought up. There's no one size fits all. But I am of the strong belief, that I learned a long time ago from Narcotics Anonymous, that in order to solve a problem, you got to first acknowledge there is a problem to be solved. And, and I think the lines between bullying and holding someone accountable are often muddied. Now, today I will use a few personal anecdotes of my own. Much of this is just opinion. I have read a lot of articles on this subject, but they mostly pertain to human resources and workplaces for bosses. And we're not really going to delve into that piece today. We're going to delve more into what goes on in social media, more of the personal nature of things. Okay. If you do, hey, Kim, good morning. Good to see you. Good to see you, Kim. So, in order to word loss, oh gosh. So yeah, in order to let me take a look at my notes. So we're going to start by let's give a basic definitions, okay, of the two things and some commentary on that. And let's start with that. So the definition of bullying, according to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary Online, it is abuse, mistreatment of someone vulnerable by someone stronger, more powerful, etc. The actions and behavior of a bully, prone to or characterized by overbearing mistreatment and domination of others. So, yeah, we see that in the workplace all the time, and it's a great example, which is why most of the articles and stuff that I've seen online pertain to the workplace. Okay, and it is largely why a lot of people with mental illness or who may be emotionally more fragile have trouble holding down a job. But other than that, I'm not really going to delve too much into the workforce thing. Now, the other one, which it gets a little more complicated, the definition of accountability. And so basically, a common definition I've seen through a Google search, the word accountable, in quotation marks, means answerable for actions and or decisions. To hold someone accountable means the person is being asked to explain why they did or did not do something. This shouldn't imply that the person being held accountable did something wrong. Yes, I agree with that, but I would take it further. Okay, I would take it further. If there are commonalities between the two, holding someone accountable or bullying, both imply negative reinforcement, obviously. The only difference is with bullying, there is never any positive reinforcement, whereas holding someone accountable can involve some positive reinforcement. But yeah, the lines do often get muddied. And why is that, especially on social media? Well, a few things there are, okay, and it comes from both ends. Let's say somebody who is trying to hold someone accountable, let's say a reaction channel, a commentary channel, okay? they're going to go after a certain YouTuber for X, Y, and Z, and this is why. This is where you're going wrong for X, Y reasons X, Y, and Z again. Okay. A lot of people don't like criticism. They don't like to be held accountable, and that's okay. I mean, I don't either much of the time. I don't know people who do all the time, but as adults, we know this is a necessary evil much of the time. I wouldn't even call it an evil, actually. Maybe poor choice of words on my part. So, a poor choice of words on my part, But holding people to account, holding accountability, it is pretty much a main tool to keep people honest, to maintain integrity, to encourage proper and ethical behavior as opposed to unethical behavior. Um, for instance, what is an example of holding someone accountable? Well, journalists going after a politician that is corrupt and let's say they're in collusion with a corporation. Okay, let's get some answers on this. And one way of, or, if somebody is accused of a crime, I have to get my kids ready for school. I'm going to watch the replay. Sends you some support on PayPal. Have a good day. Oh, thank you so much, Kim. And thank you so much for being a patron. Thank you. And yeah, the stream will remain up. Thank you. Okay, moving onward and forward. Yes. So I realize this is a pretty dry topic, but like I said, people seem to be talking about it these days. Let's do it. And there are wiser minds, I'm sure, that could probably do a better job of this than I can, but let me take a crack at it, right? So anyways, back to what I was saying. When I gave the definition, the commonalities of the general definition of accountability or holding someone to account, I would expand upon it because one example, to make them answerable, to make them answer for their actions, sometimes you never get them to answer. For example, somebody committed a crime, a criminal. What do? Okay, you call the police, you file a police report, you press charges, police arrests. Those of you, I don't need to go into the whole spiel. You understand that chain. And that is holding someone accountable. Now, where it would get muddy, for instance, there are policemen, policewomen who are known for tactics that are bullying. They will just get insulting for no reason whatsoever. They might get intimidating. They might make racial slurs. They might, call you fat. Yeah, I had a cop that called me fat once. It's like, really? It's not constructive. Okay, you're putting me under arrest. Okay, I committed a crime. Okay, I deserve to be under arrest. Let's be adults about it. But calling me fat or calling me a pig, that's bullying. That's bullying. And it is not necessary. It's enough that I'm being arrested and stuff like that. So that would be one example. Now, another form of bullying, of course, we all know online, trolls. People who come and troll, they make comments that might be lacking context. They might make comments like, for instance, I had a troll that made fun of my chin, made fun of my hats, made fun of my glasses. And they slammed me for smoking on camera. Okay, that's fine. But I don't see any of those items adding prohibitive value to an argument I might be trying to put forth or a discussion I might be trying to have. So yes, that is bullying. It offers no prohibitive value. So one way to make the differences between bullying and holding someone accountable, bullying doesn't really offer anything constructive. It just serves to intimidate. It serves to maybe insult, or in the case of online, trolling, right? That's all it serves. Okay. Thank you. But to add to add insult to injury, like I said, no. Now, if someone tells me, okay, in my comment section, sorry, I don't, they don't even have to be all that polite. They say, no, your information is wrong. And they manage to tell me for X, Y, and Z why my information is wrong. and maybe even go a step further and provide me with a link, a credible link from a credible source as to where I went wrong. Okay, you're holding me accountable. I might not like it. My ego might get bruised. And yeah, I might lick my wounds in a corner for about an hour or so. But at the end of the day, I would have to admit they might have some validity. I may not have to agree with them, but I have to give it some consideration. If there is some credible source with it on the other side, that deserves some consideration. Okay. Now, I have left some videos that I've talked about related to the subject of bullying and abuse, because abuse is also a form of bullying. Child abuse, that is an excellent form of bullying according to the definition I read from the Merriam-Webster dictionary online earlier. Okay, somebody with more power. Okay, somebody with more power mistreating somebody vulnerable. Well, a parent, an adult, has much more power than a child, and a child can't fight back. A child can't fight back. We saw this recently with the Michelle Grace, I think that's her name, where it was on camera, and there she was bragging about popping her 2-year-old, all because the 2-year-old got into her Jeffree Star palette. I'm going to do another separate video later today, another live stream later today about the Michelle Grace thing. So I'm not going to dwell too much on that right now, but I just wanted to give that, where abuse, like child abuse, for instance, is a form of bullying, according to the definition of the Merriam-Webster, right? Okay. So yeah, and Amy, Amy's life journeys, another one. I did a video about her not long ago. Okay, where I talked, because she did a video. It was not just because there was evidence of mistreatment of her children that were at least, if not seen, at least heard off camera or somewhat implied. Like, for example, the video last year that she did as something along the lines called "Let's Go to Portland." We see that the camera was automatically shifted away. We have a toddler, we hear a toddler screaming and crying, and we hear a thud, which any reasonable person can infer to be as a slap. She hit her child. Any reasonable person can infer that. Do we have 100% proof of this? Well, no, because we didn't actually see the action, but we have a right to ask about it. We have a right to be concerned. Children are vulnerable members of society. So we have to ask. It is valid to ask, to question, right? And it is valid to ask. Now, notice, in that video, I did not once go after her weight or her supposed weight loss journey. I didn't even, the last part of her video, she got into that. And I said, no, they're not going to do it. But the video I reacted to was, so they're trying to take my kids or something like that. It's linked in the pinned comment below this video, so you can check it out. And toward the end of that video, because toward that whole video, she was accusing the masses, the viewers, and her subscribers of bullying at her. Okay, she was blaming us, the viewers, because apparently somebody called CPS on her following that video that was circulating around "Let's Go to Portland." And the other one, which we saw on Twitter, where she's brandishing a wooden spoon in the car, pretty much threatening her children with it if they did not behave in a manner to which she was expecting them to. So, the inferences are there, and and it is a valid response to call Child Protective Services in her jurisdiction. It is a perfectly valid response to do that. But where I draw the line, for instance, I saw, what was it? Rose is ranting, I think. Yeah, she's the physical therapist from Florida. Yeah. And I've seen her do this with her. She's mainly an Amberlynn Reed React channel. And because she is a healthcare provider, she works as a physical therapist, I hold her to a higher standard than any other channels doing that reaction thing. And for instance, I've seen her a couple of times poking fun at somebody's speech, whether it's Amy's life journey for the wrong word coming out, or with Amberlynn Reed doing the same thing. Rose, Rose, Rose. I wonder if she makes fun of her patients. Probably doesn't, because she wouldn't still have a job. But to do that online, it makes me question. And why poking fun at somebody's speech patterns is personal to me, because those who have followed me long enough know that I have, among other neurological and psychiatric conditions, one of which is frontotemporal dementia, early onset frontotemporal dementia. I have word loss as a result. So yeah, often the wrong words come out of my mouth. This has been happening to me more and more as of late. Or I'm getting all out word loss. I'm flustered. It's like, where are my words? Trying to find my words. And that's why I take that personally. And I would ask someone like Rose is ranting, or anybody who's making fun of their speech patterns. I'm going to say, are you going to come after me if I get a wrong word out? I will defend myself if that happens. I will defend myself if that happens. And making fun of somebody's speech patterns, okay, you're not holding somebody to account. This may be, caused by a variety of problems. I already explained what mine is. I can't speak for others, but I already explained what mine is. Are you going to come after me for that? You can say you want them to do better, but what if they can't? My condition of frontotemporal dementia, it's not going to get any better. I'm going to get worse. I come to terms with this. I'm still trying to come to terms with it, to make life adjustments. I want to live on my own for as long as possible, but I also notice that word loss is happening, or the wrong words are coming out of my mouth, or I would go into a full panic mode. It's not going to get me better, and like I said, again, I can't speak for the others. And so this is a critique I have for people and I mentioned Rose's ranting specifically, like I said, because she works in the healthcare field and I hold her to a higher standard. And my initial reaction was, God, I hope she doesn't poke fun of her patients if they have trouble speaking. That's all I have to say on that. Okay, next. What would be another one? I did a live stream last week. Okay, it was when the Quaden Bales story came out. For many of you who might need a refresher, his mom. This is an Australian child who suffers from a form of dwarfism, and his mother had him on camera. Yarika Bales had him on camera of a child in distress. The child obviously in distress. And he's talking about, harming himself because he is being bullied. Okay. Now, I did a live stream condemning the mother's action of putting him on camera. Okay. Thus, probably further humiliating him. Are you bullying your own child? Because humiliating somebody for the sake of humiliating them is also a form of bullying. It's definitely not under the heading of holding someone accountable. So here I was, I did this live stream. It was about 55 minutes long. It's one of the record because while I was on stream, I had 130 viewers at the same time, which is a record for me. And it is my third highest viewed video to date at just over 1,000 views. Okay. Now, the thing was, it also got a lot of dislikes. I got a lot of new subscribers for it. Thank you, by the way. But I also got a lot of hate on it. I got comments that I had to delete because they were downright spammy, in my opinion. Like, really? Or they were repeating themselves. And they were talking about, things that were out of context. I had one pretty much order me to take my video down. I think he told me twice, take your video down. That is bullying. You're not holding me to account. You're not holding me accountable. You're just want my video down because you don't like what I said. It doesn't fit your narrative. And the other thing that it was striking about that particular video, okay, my Quaden Bales video, it's in the pinned comment if you want to see it. was later on after it clocked in at about 1,000 views. I checked my analytics, and the video for 1,000 views for a 55-minute video only clocked in at 30 hours watch time. Hey, Amy, that's okay. I'm glad you dropped by. So yeah, so what happened was I'm looking at this. Okay, it has 1,000 views. It's only, according to my analytics, it's clocking in at 30 hours watch time. And then I took a look at the average viewing time, and sure enough, it was only around 2 minutes watch time. So the thing is, I'm getting a lot of hate, but most of you didn't watch it. This is what's telling me. I'm getting a lot of hate, but most of you didn't watch it. There were a bunch of out of context. There were a bunch of comments I had to remove. I'm not fond of removing comments, but I've gotten into sometimes the practice because, frankly, they're not adding to any prohibitive value, right? There's no prohibitive value being added. Now, if you watch the video and you still don't like what I'm saying, okay, and you give a comment X, Y, and Z, that's fine. Hi, Lily. Good to see you too. Good to see you too, Lily. So sorry about the lighting in here. It keeps. Sorry about the lighting. So so I would say this is a good example. It was a video about bullying, but I also questioned was the mother adding on to further fueling matters by humiliating this child by putting him on camera? And let's face it, who does that? Who puts a camera on their child when they're in distress? Who does that? Now, of course, we've been hearing over the past week that it may have been all a scam. And I'm not going to talk about that today. I'm not going to talk about that today because I'm still researching it and I'm not sure if I will touch upon it. But just to say that even if it is, because I'm sure some will come at me in my comment section saying, oh, it's all a scam. It was all a scam. So call it a preemptive strike right now. Okay, I realize I realize that many think it is a scam, but I'm not touching upon that. And I still stand by what I said in that video. Yes, I saw many of the comments, most of them arguing points you also did. They just didn't hear or watch. Exactly, Amy. Yeah, exactly. And I thought, oh, Jesus, you're trolling me. These are trolls. And trolling is a form of bullying, whether you like it or not. Whether you like me to say that or not, I think trolling is a form of bullying. I really do. So, yeah, feel free, anybody in the live chat, if you have something to add to the discussion, the lines, how they're muddied, the differences between holding someone to account and bullying, feel free to do so. And another example that we saw in recent times on YouTube, it was between them. I'm not going to mention their names because I'm not going to mention their names because I don't want to further add fuel, and some are going to know who I'm talking about anyway. Repzilla did a good video about his age. Yeah, I'll check it out. I'm not really a fan of Repzilla, but I'll check it out. But if there's one thing I can say for certain about Quaden Bales, he really is 9 years old. Is he are he and his mother scamming, or more his mother? Is his mother pulling a scam? That I'm not sure about. It's that piece I'm not sure about. But yeah, I have done research, enough research to satisfy that he is indeed 9 years old. But I'll take a look at Repzilla's video. I don't know what he said one way or the other. You know. So what is another? So, anyways, it was between two YouTubers. One who was doing a live stream or something, and there was some questionable video clips, some questionable behaviors, and I would agree they were indeed questionable. And somebody else did a response video to all of those, and the other one did a response saying, well, I'm being bullied. And then in the comments section, somebody else had asked, do you think there is a difference between bullying and being held accountable? Oh, he agrees he's 9? Okay. Yeah, like I said, I did enough research to be satisfied. Quentin Bales is indeed 9 years old. I may or may not do a follow-up video on that, but I'm not going to dwell too much on that right now. I only mention it now because I still stand by everything I said in that previous video, assuming it was not a scam. Okay. Let's say it's not a scam. This child really is being bullied, and he really is in distress to the point of expressing ideations to self-harm. I still stand by everything I said. That the mother, questionable putting it, to me, that's as bad as, let's say, Onision taking a camera to his child, his 2-year-old, after she fell out of the second-story window. It's pretty much, maybe not as, one is more dramatic than the other, or they're just as dramatic, but for different reasons, but they're both equally bad. They're both equally bad. One, is putting a camera on his child before calling 911 after she fell out of a window. And the other one is putting a camera on it instead of, trying to take care of your child when he's in distress. You're putting a camera on it for all to see, you know? So, what, yeah. But like I said, I may or may not do a follow-up video about specifically on the Quaden Bales thing. Simply because I'm still not sure. I'm still on the fence whether this was a scam or not. I'll only say that yes, there is enough proof. The child is 9. The child is 9, and not 18 like other people are suggesting. Yeah. So what else is there? In regular everyday life, and some of you who are watching are parents. I know Kim, who was in here earlier, is a parent. And yeah, we hold our children to account. Like, for instance, you catch your child, you hear that your child is cut class. And what's the first thing? Okay, why'd you cut class? And then if your teenager, your kid is not giving you a satisfactory answer as to why you cut class, yeah, then maybe there might be a punishment in line, such as a grounding, like no friends, the only place you're allowed to go to is school, come right home, yada yada yada. That is holding somebody accountable. That's holding your kid accountable. But if you're going to insult your kid, oh, you're going to amount to nothing, or you're stupid to skip school and you're a loser, that's bullying. It does not hold prohibitive value. And the reason I mentioned that, yes, while extreme, it has happened to me in my real life. I've had my father telling me all those things, rather than, explaining what did I do wrong, like listening to an explanation. And even in my adult life, there was a former friend. He would ask me a question and I would try to answer. He would start yelling on top of me, he would start yelling on top of me, like, okay, you asked me a question, I'm trying to answer it, but then you're yelling on top of me, meaning you don't really want the answer to the question. You don't really want the answer to the question. You just want to give me a hard time. You just, sorry, you're bullying. It's abuse, it's abuse. Yeah, please feel free to give a thumbs up to this video if you like this video thus far. I'm not going to be on for much longer. I think I've touched on most of my points. Okay, I just have a few more. Right at this point, I'm going to ask you in the live chat, feel free to chime in if there's something you feel I'm missing. If there's something you feel I'm missing here, please feel free. Or if I want to be, you want to correct me, that's fine too. Or if you have a question. Amy, if you're still around, okay, we have a Discord server with a bunch of awesome people, so feel free to join. Amy, if you're still here, can you put the Discord link in the chat, please? Okay. Okay. And also for the obnoxious e-begging portion of the show. Okay, the obnoxious e-begging portion of the show. For those of you who wish to support the channel, you may do so. I have Patreon. I want to thank my patrons, S, Journey to Find K, and Kim Liepert. You are all awesome. And so take a look at what I have to offer. And I also have PayPal. I believe the line for some is very blurry. And sometimes others may even think they are helping with certain comments, but they are not. But of course, sadly, most are just bullying. Well, yeah, that's exactly right, Amy. That's exactly right. You know, like what I mentioned earlier about Rose's ranting when she got to the piece, about making fun of somebody's speech. I don't think she is helping anybody because they might have a speech impediment or they might have word loss. If you could be like me, and if someone like her were to come after me because I'm saying the wrong word when I mean to say something else or I have word loss, yeah, I'm going to defend myself, you know. And there are a couple of videos on my channel talking about my early onset frontotemporal dementia. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Amy. Yes. So, exactly. And the lines are blurred, and even I've noticed where the lines go muddy, you might try to hold somebody accountable. You do a reaction video or you're sparring with somebody on Twitter. You might be trying to hold somebody accountable. Thank you for the Discord link, Amy. Thank you. So yeah, we're nearly 50 members strong in our Discord. That is cool. Thank you. Yeah. So but that's where they get blurred, even when you're trying to. Thank you. The Patreon link is, Amy just put the Patreon link in the live chat as well as the Discord link, and the PayPal is there should you wish to join our Discord and or support the channel. You may do so. So yeah, exactly right, Amy, what you just said. Sometimes, maybe your goal is to hold someone accountable for an action, but where the line gets crossed, you're not doing it, I hate to say the right way, but yeah, let's use that term as opposed to the wrong way, because definitely, when you're doing it in a way that is, you're holding someone accountable and you're doing it in a way, and it can come off as bullying. Like, let's say, okay, let's see what can come up. Okay, you get hit by a cop, or you get hit by your parents, or somebody says, no, you're insulting, you're insulting somebody. Another good example of a past video I did, oh, this too got quite a bit of hate. Okay, and I understand a lot of you who do subscribe and who are my viewers are also fans of Jan's reviews, and I respect that. I'm not one of those people that says, well, if you want to be friends with me or you want to be a follower of mine, well, you can't follow this. I'm not one of those people that if I don't follow X, then you can't follow X. Okay, I'm not like that. That's fine. But I did do a video where even, a couple of months ago, it was when Jan's Review had put out merch with Peter Mon, Shane Dawson, and Metamorphosis Rocks' faces. And some of her videos, and I used her own words as, my receipts, my proof to back up my arguments. I used her own words. Okay. I used all of her own words. You can't get much better than that, right? And I still got a lot of hate, in my comment section. I got a lot of hate. Oh, you're not funny, or you're a disgusting person. And, you're not telling me why, okay, fine. You're not telling me why I'm disgusting. You're not telling me, okay, I'm not funny, but I've never promised to be a comedian. But it's still, I guess I can, to simplify, how can we put it? What is not constructive? Constructive versus non-constructive. That's one simple way of putting it. Bullying is not constructive. Abuse is not constructive. Trolling is not constructive. Holding someone accountable, getting them to answer for their actions, in one way or another to make them answerable, that can be constructive. If you want, let's say, your child, we're going back to your teenager's cuts class, and you ask them why, and your teenager doesn't give a valid answer, or doesn't give any answer, and then you ground them. You ground them. These are your conditions. You're pretty much under house arrest, and this is why. This is why. Will it deter the teenager from cutting class again? Well, that is the goal. I'm not saying that it will necessarily, but it is definitely the goal. Um, you understand? You're caught with, underage drinking again. If you ground them for that. You break the law, you could be subjected to being arrested. You could be subjected to being arrested, charged, even convicted in court, maybe sentenced. Again, does it help making them, doing all that? For some, it can. For some, it can. They can say, whoa, they got, I got to change my ways, or I was wrong. There are others, unfortunately, it doesn't work, let's face it. But there's a whole other reasons for that I won't get into in this video. There's whole other reasons for that. But let's move on. Let's say, a business, okay, a business acts unethically or immorally. They do something crooked. Let's say they rip you off, the consumer, they rip you off, the consumer. The consumer, you want to hold them accountable. Okay. Now, what you could do is maybe, you could take them to small claims court. You could sue them. That's one way of holding them accountable. That is if trying to settle, of course. I mean, that's more to an extreme. Going up to the business person, sorry, you overcharged me on my credit card, or your product is defective. I want a refund, or I want some kind of, that is holding the business to account, saying, yeah, you might be selling lemons, you might be selling a shoddy product. I'm holding you accountable because we're paying our hard-earned money for this, And some, unfortunately, might interpret that as bullying. And that would depend on the methodology again. That would depend on the methodology. And then when we get right down to it, and that is the quote, the Gary Hopkins quote that is on my thumbnail, right? That bully, basically paraphrase that we must hold bullies accountable so they can correct their behavior. I'm just paraphrasing what's indicated on the thumbnail. But yeah, so basically, you want to correct somebody's behavior, or you want to correct misinformation. Who's another one, a big one? The rewired soul. My friend Journey to Find K, she does a lot of reaction videos on the rewired soul, and she's coming at it from somebody who works as a case manager in the mental health field for a mental health organization. Now, and a lot of us have made videos, holding the rewired soul accountable, because much of his information is dangerous. Okay. It's not just misinformation or mistake, but it's downright dangerous because he has a loyal following, and a lot of vulnerable people are following him. And we have seen it in his comment section. People saying they're willing to ditch their advice from their doctors or their healthcare providers in favor of him. And it's like, whoa, you're promoting dangerous information. So we'll do a video, or we'll go to his comment section, or we'll hit him up on Twitter. Look, your information, it's not only misinformed, it's also dangerous. Plus you're not a healthcare provider. You're not a mental health care worker. So you can't diagnose people online. You cannot judge somebody's recovery into addiction. Like, you can't do that. So we're trying to hold him to account. But he views it as how does he respond with that silly ebook of his, canceled for cancel culture? How often has he been canceled? And he views it as being bullied. He does not view it, any of it, as constructive criticism. I'll agree some may go a little too far in their methodology when they do a reaction to him. But then you get someone like Journey Define K, who is, no, she's not being nasty at all. She is not hating on him at all. But she is showing where the error of his ways, where she sees it through her own experience, through her own eyes. You know, she is showing, and I think most of us can see the difference with that too. If But the rewired soul, how often has he bullied and gaslighted his audience? Quite often. Quite often. What was one a long while back when Taylor Nicole Dean first went into recovery from addiction? What was it? He took to the Twitter. He took to Twitter and he told her, "Be a better example for recovery or for addiction recovery or something along." That is bullying because it's not constructive. You are hitting on somebody who is vulnerable. Rewired Soul has been sober for 7 or 8 years. Taylor Nicole Dean is fresh out of recovery. So yes, this is an exact classic example of bullying. He's in a position, he's stronger because he's not as vulnerable because his recovery, he's well into his recovery. But someone like Taylor Nicole Dean is fresh out of recovery. So, she might be going through a whole range of emotions. Her physical and mental health could be affected. Everybody's different coming out of recovery or in the early stages of recovery. I'm just saying what could be. I can imagine, okay, this girl certainly being vulnerable, and then he comes out, "Be a better example for the recovery community." Well, like what? And it's really not for her to be an example. She is simply sharing her story from an important part of her life, which is recovery, from addiction. She's, people can take from it what they will. They might find it they might find it helpful, her story that some poor addict suffering in silence, maybe word loss again. Word loss again. Not going. But yeah, it's not, so it's like it might be to impart, maybe to help her viewers, to help somebody who is all alone, trying, either still struggling to get out of addiction or still struggling with active addiction or just fresh into recovery. Maybe it's to help somebody. Maybe she simply wants to share a part of her life with somebody. She wants somebody to hear her. We can't speculate, but that does not, what I'm saying is, in my own clumsy, awkward way, that did not give someone like the Rewired Soul come out and say, "Be a better example." Excuse me. Excuse me. Yeah, excuse me. So, and what's another one, um, making accusations without proof. Making accusations without proof. Uh, that's bullying. You make an accusation with proof. That's holding someone accountable. What could also be holding someone accountable or making them answerable? Um, yes, that was shaming her. Exactly, Amy. You're exactly right. That it was shaming her. And shaming is a form of bullying, whether it's pill shaming, fat shaming, addiction shaming, victim blaming. It's all a form of, they're all forms of bullying, right? They all are. She seemed to be doing her best and she didn't need, no, she didn't. Exactly. Just because she has a sizable YouTube channel, just because she might have a lot of followers, it doesn't make her to be an example of those in recovery. If anything, you could call, being that fresh out of recovery, call it, riding a bike with training wheels, so to speak. The best analogy, riding a bike with training wheels. She's not an expert, you know, Maybe a couple, she's not an expert. She's simply sharing her story with her audience, for whatever her reasons are. She's sharing her story. She is being vulnerable online and publicly, and unfortunately, and this kind of behavior must be condemned. You get people like the rewired soul, be a better example. Like, some people tried to do this with Eugenia Cooney as well. Yeah, exactly. I agree with you. I agree with you, Amy, on that. Eugenia Cooney, like, how many went after this girl? And they're all saying, oh, she hasn't gained weight. She hasn't gained weight or anything. Or it's like, oh, God, really? I'm not really an expert on eating disorders. I never suffered from an eating disorder, like I've said. I did used to work as a stripper, so I was often around girls with eating disorders. Okay, let's face it, stripping is an appearance based, whether you make or break, it is based on your appearance. And you're expected to be quite slim, for the most part. So I just all this to say, I am familiar. I have been around or closely, in close contact with young women and girls with eating disorders. So I know a little something by what they told me or by observation. And this all to say that a lot of people who know nothing about eating disorders, they pick on you, they pick on someone like Eugenia Cooney. And, it's almost like when she first came back on the scene in July with Shane Dawson last summer, there were people, oh, she didn't gain a pound, she didn't gain an ounce, she's still so skinny, she's still underweight. Wait, hold on a minute. You know, it's almost like these people expected her to be, I don't know, have 20% body fat all of a sudden. And recovery from something, some of these eating disorders, it just doesn't work that way. Feeding is gradual. Anyways, I am, I digress. Yeah, those are the words I'm looking for. I digress. I'm getting off topic here. I'm turning it into a video on eating disorders, and I shouldn't have. I apologize for that. I get distracted very easily. Those of you who are new here, I do get distracted easily. But yeah, you're right. That's what they did to her. And these are people who think they know it all, but they don't. They really don't. We can have an opinion, but be careful. I think opinion should be based in fact, like should be informed. Like what we hear some of them saying. A disclaimer at the beginning of their videos, like saying, "This is my opinion. These are my opinions, and opinions are not facts." I agree with that only to some degree because I think opinion should be based on facts that are available out there. Like one should back up an argument with facts, but that's just me. But back to the thing. So basically, why the lines often get so muddied and people might get confused over the differences between holding somebody accountable and bullying is quite often, because most of us don't like to be held to account, including yours truly. Yeah, you're right. Recovery is a slow process, Amy. Absolutely correct. So, yeah, back to what I was saying. So, the reasons why the lines get muddy because a lot of us don't like to be held accountable for a variety of reasons, including yours truly. We don't like it, but we know it's a necessity. And secondly, sometimes the methodology, when your goal is to hold somebody accountable, but your methodology in doing that comes off as bullying because you're not offering a constructive criticism. Maybe you are intimidating that individual. Maybe you're intimidating that individual. Maybe you're flat out abusing that individual. So that's where the lines often get muddied, and we have to be careful. Like, it's not just those of us who are being held to account. You got to stop and think, wait a minute. Is this really abusive? Is this really bullying? Or is someone simply trying to hold us accountable? And, and you gotta, it's a good idea. Of course, our emotions run wild. Our emotions take over. And it's not the first thing we're going to think of. including yours truly. I'm not going to think of it either. I'm just saying what should, um, what should be. Know what I'm saying? Another, so that's why it often does. But the person holding someone accountable, are they doing a good job of it? Is it coming across? Are you really making this person answerable for their actions or their inactions, for what was said, what was not said? Or is it getting lost because your methodology is coming off as abusive? Fish, Father Fish, good to see you. There will always be those who cry wolf, though, even when they know they've done wrong. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Fish. You're absolutely right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely, yeah, correct. Um, and this is another, you just gave an example as to how and why both bullying and holding someone accountable, the lines often get muddy. You just gave another example there, Fish. So, anyways, I pretty much, and I've illustrated my examples, I think. So, right now, I'm going to turn it over to you for the chat for the next few minutes because I'm not going to stay on too much longer because it's getting more difficult for me to find my words right now. So, that usually is a sign that I should get off very shortly. Okay, that's, yeah, I'm learning about myself. But yeah, so I'll give you a few minutes to chat amongst yourselves. For those of you who want to join our Discord server, Amy has provided the link in the chat. And if you wish to support the channel, I have Patreon and I have PayPal. And I want to give a shout out to my patrons, S, Kim Leeper, and Journey to Find K. And please hit that like if you haven't already done so. Yes, thank you, Amy. Hit the like button if you already, and that's a free way you can support this channel. And another free way you can support this channel, please consider subscribing and hit that little bell thingy down below. So all of these things are great ways you can support the channel if you wish to do so. Yes. So now, anybody? Oh, and I forgot to bring up one more argument. You see, this is what happens sometimes. I forgot to bring up one more thing. And I think this is worthy of discussion. I'm just going to give you my opinion. I'll throw it out there, and you can feel free in the live chat to say something about that, or add it to my comment section when I jump off stream. Warnings, giving a warning to others. Okay, whether it's a business that is selling a product that is potentially, whether it's a product that is not good because it doesn't work properly or it breaks too easily, or whether it's warning somebody about another individual. Like if you know somebody, for instance, if you know somebody who, okay, who could potentially, I don't know, rob you blind or will lie to you every other word, or, will lie to you every other word. I think it's fair to warn others. But somebody might construe that as bullying. I don't see it that way. I think it's providing a service. But what say you all in the chat? What say you all in the chat? And defending oneself. Okay, doesn't look like. Well, you can feel free to leave a message. To drop a comment in my comment section. Drop a comment in my comment section. Okay, hang on, just want to check something. Okay. Sorry about that, Captain Fish. I think if it's a legitimate thing that could harm someone, i.e. defrauding someone, that's legit. If it doesn't harm anyone, then what does it matter? Yeah, Fish, I would say, yeah. I mean, if someone is being defrauded something like that, or they've been robbed, or they steal from you, okay? They steal from you or whatever, or they could harm you in some way. They could cause some serious harm. Yeah, I think it is fair to warn others about them, especially when you know they will do it again to somebody else. If you want to prevent it from happening to someone else, I think that is fair, you know. Like if someone let's say I know, if some yeah, exactly. I think it is fair to warn them, look, this person will probably steal from you. They stole from me. They'll steal from, they'll probably steal from you too. I think it's fair to warn them. I think it's fair to warn others. Right. But if they just have a tendency to be late, or they say things don't come out right, then that's a whole different story and much less toxic and dangerous story. Yeah, exactly. No, I was talking about, certain things, that can cause some serious harm when serious harm is caused. You know, like if there's let's say there's a doctor, okay, who there's a doctor and they have done, and especially if you've heard from others or you saw it on ratemds.com and you see the same pattern of behavior, we don't like this doctor because of X, Y, and Z. Like maybe they're making inappropriate sexual comments, and it's happened. It does happen, you know. I think it's fair to warn others who might be seeing this doctor. You might want to rethink this. You might want to rethink this. Discretion does play a big part, but I don't think we're all in accord here. No, that's possible. That's possible, Fish. Absolutely. For those of you who don't know, Captain Fish he has collabed with me on several occasions. He has a channel too, so you can go check him out and show him some love. You can show him some love. And again, Captain Fish and I. We don't necessarily agree on everything, but we don't bully each other either. We explain where each of us is coming from. I still consider him a friend. I still consider him a friend. I don't hate him. Yeah, I still consider him a friend. I don't always agree with him, but I still consider him a friend. I'm not too kind, Captain Fish. I'm not too kind. Yeah, yeah, I'm not too kind. We smaller content creators have to help each other, right? Yeah. Yep. So, yeah, so there. So I think I've said everything that needs to be said. I'll give it a few 2 minutes if there's anything you wish to add again. Okay. And either way, if it doesn't come to you or you're watching this later, the stream, of course, is going to remain up. And feel free to drop your opinion on my comment section. And like I said, I've done videos about bullying or something related to the topic at hand that I was talking about this morning. That I invite you to watch as well. They are in the pinned comment below the video. Okay, so I think I'm going to go off before my word loss really takes hold. Yeah, before my word loss really takes hold. Yeah. Yeah. So, anyways, for those of you who are here who haven't already, please smash that thumbs up. If you haven't already, if you don't like it, you can hit thumbs down. It's all engagement. If you haven't subscribed yet to this channel, please consider subscribing and hit that little bell thingy below so you can be notified every time I upload. I do plan to do another live some point later today, because I really want to weigh in on the Michelle Grace situation. Okay, because I really want to weigh in on that, the Michelle Grace situation, and I'm going to be talking about that in a video this afternoon, because there was another YouTuber who compared her to Amy's life journey. And there were a few good points he brought up, but there were other points I find, no, that must be countered. So that's what I'm going to be doing later on today. I don't know what time. Time will be announced later on. I hope you can all join me then. I will let you know. I will share the time later. What else? Yes, have a great rest of the day. Thank you, Amy. Thank you, everybody who came by to view. Go check out Captain Fish's channel. All that lovely stuff. Come join our Discord if you haven't already. Captain Fish and Amy are members of our Discord. Captain Fish provides a lot of music in our music room. And like I said, if you wish to support the channel, you may do so through Patreon and through PayPal. Links are in the description box of this video. So other than that, I wish you all a great day. Happy Friday. If you're starting your weekend already, have a great weekend. Like I said, I hope to catch you later on my live stream talking about the Michelle Grace and Amy's life journey. Okay? So straight talking, Fedora Chick over and out. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Bye for now.